Open your phone today and you are immediately hit with a hurricane of fitness advice. One influencer tells you carbohydrates are toxic, another pushes a weird lemon cayenne concoction, and the next insists you are failing if you don't run 5 miles every single morning. So you try it all. You push yourself to the limit. You drop your calories down to nothing, starving yourself throughout the day, and then you step on the treadmill, running until your lungs burn and your knees ache. And after a month of this exhaustion, you step on the scale and the needle hasn't budged. You feel hungry, defeated, and tired. The fault here doesn't lie with your willpower. The fitness industry thrives on making fat loss seem like a complicated, mystical secret that requires a subscription or a supplement. Cutting through that marketing noise reveals a different reality. The human body functions as an ancient, highly adapted evolutionary survival machine. When we treat this system with extreme stress, we trigger biological defense mechanisms that are specifically designed to counteract weight loss. When you suddenly drop your daily food intake to extreme lows, like 1,200 calories a day, your brain interprets the data as an impending famine. This chart maps energy intake against expenditure. When your caloric intake plunges, your body reacts by dragging your metabolic baseline down to hoard energy. Out of desperation, it begins breaking down your muscle tissue for fuel instead of your fat stores. As the chart shifts, you can see your total daily energy output shrink to match the new restricted intake. This happens through subtle behavioral adaptations, where your brain makes you move less throughout the day, taking the elevator instead of the stairs, or even fidgeting less to preserve every possible calorie. This preservation mechanism is also why intermittent fasting can lead to weight gain. While fasting lowers insulin, consuming a massive surplus of food during your eating window will still result in your body storing that excess energy. Any routine built on extreme deprivation or physical exhaustion acts as a biological panic signal, instructing the body to prioritize fat preservation at all costs. Avoiding that panic response requires a slight calorie deficit. You eat just slightly less than your body burns, enough to prompt it to tap into its reserves, but small enough to avoid tripping the starvation alarms. Consistent walking complements this deficit by burning energy steadily without triggering the massive spikes in hunger hormones that usually follow intense running. Resistance training changes the equation further. As you build muscle, you are adding metabolically expensive tissue to your frame, which requires a significant amount of energy just to exist. Tracking this burn rate across a 24-hour timeline shows that muscle mass forces the body to increase its baseline energy expenditure. You are effectively upgrading the engine to burn more fuel even while you sleep. The thermic effect of food provides an additional metabolic boost. This graph of a 100-calorie block of protein shows how 30% of that energy burns away purely through the intensive process of digestion. When we expand the comparison to the processed snack on the right, we see the body absorbs almost every calorie. High-protein foods like chicken, lentils, or fish force digestion to work harder, reducing the net calories your body actually keeps. Prioritizing heavy lifting and protein-rich nutrition increases your body's natural energy expenditure from the inside out. Even with the right movement and nutrition, one final safety signal is required for fat loss: adequate sleep. Sleep deprivation causes the brain to pump out high levels of cortisol, a hormone that signals the body is under significant stress. When those cortisol particles attach to the receptors on a fat cell, they send a signal that chemically halts the release of stored energy. This process simultaneously drives intense cravings for junk food, making fat loss biologically difficult regardless of effort. Sustainable fat loss requires a biological negotiation, sending specific chemical signals to convince the body it is safe to let go of its reserves. This blueprint for signaling safety relies on 4 pillars: maintaining a manageable calorie deficit, prioritizing protein, moving naturally with occasional heavy lifting, and protecting your sleep to keep stress hormones in check. By removing the noise of the fitness industry and consistently providing the body with these safety signals, the biological system will naturally release the emergency reserves it has been holding on to. Open your